I've got burgers made of beans, they're never fried. Salsa chips and salsa to keep me warm way deep inside. Oh yeah, I guess you'd say, Jim and Lori, help me be prepared today for end times. I'm talking about end times. Oh, I've got powdered food for a stormy day. Beets and spinach and blueberry and strawberries. Filtered water from Seychelles to take the poisons away. I like that too much. I guess you'd say, Jim and Lori, help me be prepared today for end times. Oh, these end times, end times.
Early 2020, the world shut down. Stores, restaurants, schools, and whole communities shut their doors in an effort to protect human life. As the world quickly changed, one man went on Facebook to get a degree in internet epidemiology. Bryan, along with his lab assistant Hoadley, are curing coronavirus by commenting on fake news and reposting recipes of secret virus cures from a friend of a friend who works high up in government. Join Bryan and Hoadley as they discuss the world and life during this forced interruption, learning, laughing, and loving in this real-life commercial break. On this episode of The Commercial Break,
we're at the point now, at 24, 25 episodes in, where I feel like we need to bring in some guests. I feel like we've kind of gotten comfortable with each other. We've always been, but now we're comfortable with how to work the equipment. I won't be wasting anybody's fucking time. By the way, just making sure I have record on here everywhere. I don't.
You don't.
I don't have record on.
I've got his iCloud password.
Uh-oh.
I just wanted to see if I could see the other half of the photographs. I want to piece the night together.
Creepy Henry. As a matter of fact, Bryan, I like your brother more than I like you. After being your therapist for many years, I think you're an asshole. Thank you, therapist. I'm holding space for that. My heart space is open.
the next episode of The Commercial Break starts now.
Beep beep, honk honk. What if we just did the show and honks and beeps? Honk honk, beep beep.
Sure, it's been done before.
Yeah, I was listening to this. Like, I was going through some other people's podcasts, and the guy was like, it was so funny, man. This guy was so funny. I wish I could remember the name of the podcast, Podvast or something. I don't know. I'll get the name. I'll put it on the show notes. But this guy, he said the show is all about they take fake companies and they make up fake pitches for the companies, and it's super funny, like super funny. But the guy goes, I was listening to this other podcast named, who knows what it names and who cares? Because all podcasts are either named two white guys talking about nothing or two white girls talking about crime. And I was like, wait, one more category. White girl and white guy talking about sex and dirty stuff.
Yeah. And TV shows.
I'm learning just how limited our promotional universe is now that we use naughty words on the naughty words. But you know what? I don't give a shit because, I mean, Asher and I had this long conversation. Like, there's a couple places where we want to promote, but we're not allowed to. They basically have made an editorial decision that we're crappy. They basically made an editorial decision that we suck. And listen, I understand. Like, we're not everybody's cup of tea. We don't butter everybody's bread, Hoadley, so to speak. Right?
Correct.
But I don't want to, I spent so much of my time at this other radio place that we worked. I spent so much of my time mitigating what I said because I was so afraid to get into trouble every 15 seconds. And I just don't feel like doing that. And I don't feel it's real honest. Like, I don't think it would be, I don't talk like that in real, this is how I talk in real life.
I was going to say, this is like us. I mean, we're two best friends having conversations each week. So this is the way we talk.
It's a wide range of talk. So I won't get into specifics here because I'll save it as a surprise. And I never want to tell anybody these things because then I'm afraid that it never happens and whatever. That we're at the point now at 24, 25 episodes in where I feel like we need to bring in some guests. I feel like we've kind of gotten comfortable with each other. We've always been, but now we're comfortable with how to work the equipment. I won't be wasting anybody's fucking time. By the way, just making sure I have record on here everywhere. I don't.
You don't.
I don't have record on.
Recording.
The good news is I have record somewhere else. But so I. That's why we record in 3 different places because Ryan's going to not record at least 2 of them. We got the one backup.
That was good thinking on your part because that did happen a couple of times in our first few attempts.
In our first 5 or 6 episodes, what you're hearing is the product of the 3rd or 4th time that we've actually recorded those episodes because I could not get it right. So for whatever reason.
I can help you with that, man. I've got a special tool.
Oh, hey, it's Peter Fonda from Podcast Universe. Henry Fonda from Podcast Universe.
Hi, how are you, man? You're looking good. You can see you on the YouTube. Yeah, I'm a member of the break room.
Oh, I didn't know that. There's no Henry Fonda in our break room, and I know because there's only 3 members, and 2 of them are me and my wife.
Listen, man. I don't want to use my real name because I feel like people get all excited about Henry Fonda being on the break room, so I used a different name.
Let me guess. Shithead Juarez?
Man, you're good. Good for you. Listen, I understand you're always having trouble recording, so I've got a special tool for you.
Uh-huh. What's that? I'm a little skeptical after the whole Banner Addison incident.
Don't be. Listen, we have a special type of sign that we tattoo on your forehead, and that way every time you go to record, it says record. It's like a big record button on your head. It's almost a banner ad, basically, for real life.
Wow, that's awesome.
Well, that's right, and with it comes 2 additional subscribers, free, no charge.
Wow, okay, Henry, I'm going to take that, because that's what I need, because Hoadley and I, we've recorded the shows a couple of times.
Oh, I know, man, I know. I was in your account the other day looking around.
How did you get into my account?
I got your social security number, just in case I couldn't get a hold of you.
Thanks, Henry. I appreciate it.
No problem. We here at Podcast Universe are always here to help your ego.
Okay, Henry, I got to go do the show.
I know you do.
So
Bye, Henry.
Bye, Henry.
Bye, Hoadley. Are you still married? I'm asking for a friend. I'm asking for a friend.
Yes, Henry.
Do you know your password to iCloud? I'm asking.
I do.
You do. I hear.
I do, but I'm not telling it to you.
It's really sad because I hear you might have I don't think you've done any updates on your iCloud in a while, and I have a service where I update your iCloud for you, and they move all the files to a special place where, in case you need them, it's called Podcast Backup Universe. Don't worry, I don't do anything with the files except for look at them myself.
Okay, Henry, you're sounding creepy now.
Okay, tell Jeff I said hello. I've got his iCloud password.
Uh-oh.
I just wanted to see if I could see the other half of the photographs. I want to piece the night together.
Creepy, Henry. So we're at the point where now I feel like we could do with some guests, right? We could really do with some guests. So we're out there poking around and trolling around. And I invited a guest, because I've talked to you about this off air, but I invited this guest and immediately got back to me. Like, I was kind of surprised that this particular person would get back to me so quickly via like a social media, DM or IM or whatever, slide into your fucking whatever you call it. Right? I slid into his fucking whatever you call it. And I said, hey, man, listen, really big fan. Love to have you on the show. And we talk about you every once in a blue moon. And I'm a big big fan, basically, is what I said. And he got back to me immediately, like within a minute. And he was like, Bryan, thanks so much. I really appreciate the fact that you guys like what I'm doing. And I would certainly entertain the idea of being a guest. Just give me a couple of days to check out what you guys are doing. And then I'll get back to you. And I was like, wow, that's great. So I'm all excited. I'm running around the house last night like, woohoo,
Yeah, we got our first
Joe
guest.
Bibbidi Bop, is going to come on our program, and I'm so excited. What am I going to ask? And I got so many things to talk about, and blah, blah, blah. And then Astrid is like, you have talked about that guy a lot. And I'm like, I know. And she's like, but I don't think it's all been all that fantastic. And I was like, no. I said, oh, shit, man. I talked a lot of trash about that poor guy. I mean, I didn't talk a lot of trash about him, but, I realized that, this might not be his cup of tea. Like what we're talking about all the time might not be. He's prim and proper, and I don't want him to be offended. So I told Ashley, I said, let me write him another email and get him ready for the content. And she's like, Bryan, now you sound like a crazy ex-girlfriend. Like you don't write, dear
Right.
so-and-so, before you listen.
Do you like me?
Yeah.
Do you like me? If you don't, that's okay. We can talk again later.
That's right.
Maybe just tell me what you're thinking.
Like I'm afraid he's going to write me back and tell me what a shithead I am. He's not going to say anything. He's just never going to respond. Right. I'm going to get blocked on whatever platform that I'm using. So, listen, tcbpodcast.com. If you want a video version of the show, we are now broadcasting on YouTube behind a wall, a privacy wall, while we get the studio ready here and we fine tune it, because if it took us 6 episodes to get the audio right, it's going to take us a few episodes to get the video right. Though last week's episode, I think turned out well. So, but if you'd like to see the YouTube version of the show, if you go to tcbpodcast.com and you sign up for the break room, we will send you, it doesn't automatically send you the link. It sends it a couple days later. Like we have to manually go in and actually, send that link, through our email server. So, just be patient. It'll come. But then we're going to send you a link every single week to the YouTube show. We'll also send you something called the break room, where you get some additional content. Krissy and I spent some time on that last week, so that'll be coming out. It will have come out last week. I always forget that we're recording ahead of time. It's that is the radio in me, like thinking that we're actually recording now. Live.
Yep.
Yeah, but we're not. It doesn't work that way, Krissy.
It doesn't.
No, it doesn't. So go to tcbpodcast.com. Also soliciting audio clips, parody songs, any kind of audio that you make, that you create, or that you own and that you think would be funny to broadcast. Send it in, and in a future episode, I'd like to showcase some of those things. So we have one or two, and so far so good. I think people are really funny. They're I would say that they're taking it in good stride, Hoadley.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Someone sent us a song called Fuck You. Commercial break. I was like, that's the spirit. That's the old college try. Shithead Juarez from Moldova.
Wow, they took the time.
They did take the time. They took the time to care, Krissy, and that's all that really matters.
How's your money feeling? It's about to feel happier with a certificate from Happy Money's partner, Michigan State University Federal Credit Union. Elevate and increase your savings with 18-month terms and only a $500 minimum. And the happiest part? MSU FCU certificates yield 4.5% APY annual percentage yield. Now that's a happier side of money. Elevate your savings. Go to happymoney.com/MSUFCU. That's MSUFCU. Funds insured up to $250,000 by NCUA. The APY is accurate as of the 12/1/2023 dividend declaration date. Early withdrawal penalties do apply. Fees may reduce earnings on the account. Any monthly withdrawals or transfers reduce earnings. How's your money feeling? It's about to feel happier with a certificate from Happy Money's partner, Michigan State University Federal Credit Union. Elevate and increase your savings with 18-month terms and only a $500 minimum. And the happiest part? MSU FCU certificates yield 4.5% APY annual percentage yield. Now that's a happier side of money. Elevate your savings. Go to happymoney.com/MSUFCU. That's MSUFCU. Funds insured up to $250,000 by NCUA. The APY is accurate as of the 12/1/2023 dividend declaration date. Early withdrawal penalties do apply. Fees may reduce earnings on the account. Any monthly withdrawals or transfers reduce earnings.
Whatever kind of night you're having, start it off right with Drizzly, the go-to app for drink delivery. Whether you're mixing up a bullet bourbon old-fashioned for a cozy night in, or a Kettle One Bloody Mary bar for a birthday brunch, you can get the perfect beer, wine, and spirits for any occasion delivered with Drizzly. So,
What's it gonna be?
Download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com. That's DRIZLY.com to choose your drinks today. Must be 21 plus, not available in all locations.
I got to tell you about something, man. So I love my mom. I think she's such a wonderful person. She's just an angel. But she's having trouble navigating in this new world that we live in. And I don't mean new world like the pandemic.
Tech world?
Yeah, I just mean in general, like the tech world. I mean in general, like the world in general, right? My mom just is having a little bit of trouble navigating. So we get this phone call. An eager phone call from my mom. And here's how it goes. Ready? We don't answer the phone because we think it's just a phone call.
Yeah.
Hi, Bryan. It's your mom. I'm calling on Astrid's phone because I know you don't like me to bother you.
That's the first thing she does. She calls on Astrid's phone because she knows I don't like to be bothered by multiple phone calls. So she leaves the message for me on Astrid's phone.
Hi. Okay, so listen. I know I came over to your house the other day and my phone is working just fine. And then all of a sudden it's not working anymore. So I don't really know what to do. Like, do I turn it on or do I turn it off? Or I'm not really sure who I call about it. And I've read a bunch of stuff from on that book that you gave me that came along with the phone. And it just has a bunch of numbers and letters in it. So call me back, okay? Because I don't know what to do. Okay, bye.
She's calling me from the phone.
From the phone, I was going to say.
She's calling me from the phone.
So it does work in some capacity.
Yeah, so I immediately, beep, bop, boop, 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 call up my mom, right? And it goes to her voicemail, but it's clear that the phone at least should be working. It's ringing and it's going up,
Yeah.
Hey, Mom, it's Bryan. Listen, I just called your phone and it's working just fine. Like, if you're getting this message, everything's okay.
This is the problem with my mother in her phone communication skills. That's it. That's all that needs to be said. If you called me and said, hey, Bryan, my phone's not working, dial my phone and see if it's working, I would dial your phone. And if it rang, we knew it would be okay. And there would be no need for additional communication because it's 2020 and we don't need to talk to each other every 5 seconds about everything that we're doing, right? So then my mom calls. Astrid's phone first, my phone second, back to Astrid's phone, back to my phone, right? Finally, I pick it up. It's like dinner time.
Hi, honey, it's your mom.
I know, Mom. I see it on the thing.
Oh, it tells you who's calling?
Yes, Mom. It tells me who's calling. It's called a caller ID. They've had that since the 80s.
Oh, yeah. It does the same thing for me.
Okay, what do you got, Mom? I'm sitting here eating.
Listen, I just wanted to call and let you know that the phone is working just fine.
I know because you're calling from it.
Oh, that's right. How did you know that?
Because you called from it the first time.
Wait, did I call from the phone the first time? I didn't even realize it was working. I thought it was broken.
And I'm like, Mom, you called from the phone to tell me it was broken, but it wasn't broken because you called me from the phone.
Oh, I was confused, I think. I don't think I slept very well last night. You know what happened? Do you know what happened, Bryan?
What happened, Mom?
Irving called me. He told me he loves you. he loves you so much, you and the grandkids. He says that Matthias is going to be Einstein.
Okay, Mom, I'm eating dinner. Can you please let me go? Like, I don't want to hear about Irving and the stuff. And can we talk about this later?
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt. I didn't realize it. I understand. I understand you don't want to talk to me.
Oh, Mom, don't give me the guilt trip now. I'm trying to eat.
Yeah, that happens.
I know, honey. I just call me back whenever. You don't have to call me back today or tomorrow or Thursday or Saturday. Just call me back whenever you want to. If that's next Tuesday, you can call me next.
Okay, Mom, I'll call you back.
Okay, bye.
Mom. The over-communication is what kills me. And I don't think this is a problem that just I am experiencing because I have other people that are close to me that are experiencing the same type of over-communication and oversensitivity to the communication. It's like just because we can communicate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, doesn't mean we should be communicating 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it's the constant over communication that really drives me crazy. And I think that the cell phones and the text messages and all this stuff has given everybody an opportunity to do that. But we've already been through this. Like we, as people who grew up with the cell phones and the internet and all this other stuff, we already understand that this is not an appropriate way to communicate because we did it at one point, right?
Yeah.
Your mom passed away. When she was alive, did she over communicate like this also?
Yes. And then it was, well, come see me. You never see me. Let's, I know about the guilt trip. But yeah, I had to put some boundaries. I had to say, let's talk. Let's make a special day every week that we talk. And so we had Wednesdays as our day.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That worked out really well.
Oh, that's a really good idea.
It kind of just puts everything on that day and you could set aside an hour to catch up.
Okay. So if I do Thursdays with Bryan, Hoadley, can I do Fridays with you? And Irving can do Saturdays with Jeff and his daughters? Oh,
Yes,
that's so
we'll
sweet
try
of
that.
you.
We'll
Yeah,
try
because Irving really loves your granddaughters. He just talks about them all the time.
Mom, he doesn't even know their granddaughters.
Yes, he does, honey. Do you remember that one time you talked about them at the dinner?
No.
Well, you did, and then, Irving's just such a sweet man. He just loves everybody. Everybody's his grandchild.
Okay, Mom, I'm gonna. This story's bordering on fiction. I gotta let you go.
Okay, bye, Brian. I love you.
Okay, Mom, love you too. I think it's a good idea. I think there ought to be some boundaries set. I think we're gonna have to go to maybe we're gonna have to go to a grid on the refrigerator with my mom. Maybe I'm gonna have to go to her house and put a grid on the refrigerator. Like Tuesdays, no calls except for emergencies. But you know what emergencies is gonna be?
Well, right.
Yeah.
Hi, Brian. It's your mom. I don't know what to do.
Mom, what's going on? Is everything okay?
It is, but when I tried to get in the house, the key it jingled a little bit, and I really think that I don't think it's locked all the way.
Could you open it?
No.
Then it's locked all the way.
I don't think so, honey. Can you come over and take a look at it?
Mom, this is not an emergency.
Are you sure?
No, you have a whole maintenance department to take care of this.
I don't like to call them, honey. I don't like to call them. They're not very nice.
It's like, Mom, don't call me anymore, please. It's not that I don't want you to call me anymore. It's that I don't want you to call me so much. I just want to, they did it. And now we have grandchildren, and that's like the hook in the fish.
Of course.
Yeah. It's always something about the grandchildren, right? Well, can I see my? Yeah, of course you can. Anytime you want to see your grandchildren, you can see your grandchildren. But she doesn't come over that often. It's just really about the over communication. So I think I'm going to take a page out of your book that you did with your mom, and I'm going to tell her there's a special day and time that you and I are going to talk. Yep. And we're going to talk as long as you want to, as long as it's within 25-minute period.
Right.
Anytime between 25, 24, 23, any down. You got me, Mom. I'm totally yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could help. It could help.
Oh man, holy, thank you. I feel like I got to do it. I feel like we just had a therapy session. I feel like my therapist should have said this to me a long time ago. I pay her a lot of money. And she's still saying things
boundaries.
like, look inside yourself to find the answer to this one. Why is your mom calling you so bothersome? Because she's calling me all the time.
Yeah.
I know, but why? I don't know why. You ask her. She's calling. No, why are you bothered? Listen, therapist, I don't know why I'm bothered. Isn't that your job? Figure it out. Get it out of me. Something like that. You seem so irritated around this. Ah!
Does she call the other brothers as well like this, or just you?
Listen, I don't want to get too personal here, but there are brothers who communicate more with my mother than it's not. Not all of them communicate with me. And I love my mom. Just to be clear about this, before I was married with children, I would talk to my mom every other day, at least. But it wasn't for a long time. It was like 10, 15-minute touch base. I would tell her what's going on, who I was dating, where I was out, what I was doing, what was going on at work. Like I'd communicate and just be, because I know that that's like a lifeline for my mom, right? She needs some affirmation that her children are doing well and that she has got a good relationship with them. But as life has gotten more complicated, I don't say complicated in a bad way. I say as more things have pulled on my time, I can't give that kind of time to any one person anymore, except for my children and my wife and Hoadley. Mm-hmm. Of course, I say this as we're doing a podcast to nobody.
I have no time.
Have you looked inside yourself and asked yourself why you have time for the podcast, but no time for your mother? No, therapist, I haven't. Maybe you should. Maybe. That'll be $195.
Right.
Yeah. So, it's not about my mom specifically. It's about the things that drag on my time and the relative priority that they take at that particular moment. So if it's like Tuesday at 2:30 in the afternoon, that's not a great time for me to be having a conversation. I got 2 children running around trying to run a business and, keep the podcast going and all that stuff. The business, the podcast, all this, none of those things are more important than my mother. But I know that our conversation could probably wait. It's not like it needs to be had right this very second.
I was going to say it's kind of like free feeding, like some people feed their dogs at certain times because if they leave a bowl of food out, the dog will just eat it all at once. I mean, it just constantly, as much as you're putting food out. And I think that's what's happening with your mom. She's free feeding on your time.
Yes. Bryan, I think you should listen to Krissy. Are you here? Are you holding space for what Krissy is saying?
And she's so sweet.
She's
so sweet.
Yes, she is. As a matter of fact, Bryan, I like your brother more than I like you. After being your therapist for many years, I think you're an asshole. Thank you, therapist. I'm holding space for that. My heart space is open. My heart space is open. Yeah, my chakras are open. Speaking of chakras, have you gotten into the new program, the new television program, Netflix's Down to Earth?
I have not.
Do you know this kid, Zac Efron? I say Efron, like saffron.
Yes, okay, I did. I was going to watch one of those, and then I didn't. I watched something else, but it looked like it could be something. I like travel. Travel, and he's traveling around, isn't he?
Listen, he's no Anthony Bourdain, admittedly, right? This is not Anthony Bourdain show. If you're looking for like that kind of travel show, this is not that. But what Jack has done, along with this other guy
Zach.
named Darren, what did I say, Jack?
Jack.
I said Jack. Love you, Zach. Mean it. Like he's listening, like we're friends.
Right.
Kid's got 43.6 million fucking followers on Instagram. 43 million. That's 1/6 of the country. That's insane. 1/6 of the United States. I mean, I don't know, they're all from the United States, but it's a population. 1/6 of the United States is following him on his every move on Instagram. Yeah. So him and this other like food guy that's like down to earth, crunchy granola, food cures everything. We need to sustainability, super duper hippy dippy guy named Darren. I can't remember his last name, but I'm with the guy, right? I'm behind him on a lot of what he says. I don't believe in some of the more like nebulous kind of, theories. Like one episode, I'll give you an example. One episode they go meet a water sommelier. A sommelier that focuses in on water.
Oh, yeah. On water.
Okay. The guy brings out a bunch of waters from like different countries, right? And here's a special water. It's been filtered through through sheep shit and 2 rocks and
minerals. And it once was a volcano and now it's not.
Yes, Hoadley. Yep. It's got dandelion feces in it.
Yes.
The dandelion feces has a lot of iron, which is good for your nasal passages.
It's good for you. Yeah.
Yes,
helps with allergies.
Yes, your heart space is open. I can feel it. I can feel your heart space across the screen. Yes, Hoadley. So now I want you to try this next water. This next water is from Atlanta, Georgia, the Chattahoochee. It's got a lot of dead cow, redneck beer.
Right.
Redneck piss.
Yep.
So they go and they do this whole thing with the water. And the guy basically says, listen, if you're drinking filtered water, you're taking nutrients away from your body because the water wants to give you nutrients, but filtered water has no nutrients. Like super filtered water has no nutrients. So it actually
like my Brita pitcher.
Listen. Okay. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about this show that I think I needed to be a little bit careful with. And I'm glad that I was. I really enjoyed Zach. He plays the absolutely clueless guy who is going with this expert around the world to learn more about sustainability and food sustainability in general, like buying your food fresh, local, straight from the source, all this other stuff, right? Not eating packaged, processed, and the guy's also a vegan, but Zach is not. He'll eat meat. So there's, if you're going to eat meat, how to do that responsibly and all this stuff. Zach really wants to learn, and he takes this guy along with him who basically wrote the book on sustainability. But then every once in a blue moon, they take a left turn into water farts and shit like this. Right. And it's just like, okay, do your homework on this because that's not exactly true what this sommelier was saying, right? Filtered water does not take nutrients from you. There's not enough nutrients in water to do anything for you or not do it for you. So, but I do have to say that I watched the show and I found it to be relatively pleasant. I like Zach. I like his man body. I like his man body all over. Yeah. Darren is an interesting character. Who at the end of the show, this is the part I wanted to get to. At the end of the show, this guy's house burns down in the California wildfires while he is out traveling. Yeah, well, he's out traveling with Zach.
Oh no!
And he gives this soliloquy at the end of the show about how. Do you like that word that I just used?
I do.
Soliloquy.
Soliloquy.
I can feel your dictionary chakra opening up right now, Brian.
That does go with the dictionary chakra.
I can feel energy moving right into my cornea. Yes. Yes, let's hold. Are you holding your heart space open for me, Hoadley? So he gives this soliloquy, like this 3-minute dissertation on why he's going to go down swinging to fight for Mother Earth, right? Because they went to Puerto Rico earlier in the show and saw the devastation that the hurricane caused, and they actually helped some locals move some trash out from the hurricane, right? And they said, wow, this is amazing. This is Mother Earth. This is with the power of Mother Earth here. The whole island is devastated. And then Darren at the end of the show says the power of Mother Earth is not unaffecting any of us. It's affecting all of us, even me. If I, living in my Southern California home, Mother Earth can come get me, it can come get all of us. And it's coming to get all of us. Mm-hmm. And I agree. Mm-hmm. Look at these wildfires that are out in California. Now, when this show broadcasts a week and a half later from when we're doing it, I'm hoping that the wildfires have calmed down a little bit. But there's like 380 wildfires just in California alone. It's burning the place up. I have friends who have run from their home.
All on the West Coast,
It's insane.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't believe we still have a debate going on in this country about whether or not the climate is changing. The climate is changing. Yeah. Humans are affecting it. To what degree? I don't know. To what degree does anybody really know? I don't think so. I think it's such a large problem that I'm not sure anybody does. But if we don't all start making like a little bit of a difference, like a small difference every single fucking day, I think we're in real trouble. I'm not sure that my children's children will inherit an Earth that's even remotely looks like the one that we live in today. Period. End of sentence.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, just even between the wildfires and then also the sea level rising, there's going to be a lot of these coastal towns and cities that are slowly disappearing. You know,
I work in real estate, and so I have purchased seaside waterfront
villas.
I
like villas.
I can feel your heart villa right now. It feels great. Yes. It feels great.
I can feel your heart villa too.
Henry, settle down.
No, I'm with you, man. We're all calm right now. Everything's wonderful. Can I see your heart villa? Can I see both of your heart chakras?
Okay, Henry, stop it. You're just being creepy.
Sorry, man. My wife's been away on vacation.
Oh, I'm sorry. Where'd she go?
I'm not sure. She's been gone for about 3.5 years.
Have you heard from her?
Not sure.
You don't check that email?
I can't check that email. I don't have the internet.
Okay, I got to let you go, Henry. So it's a fascinating show. You have to take it with a grain of salt, but I suggest that you watch it because it's really good. And and Zac Efron takes off his shirt every once in a while, so that satisfies that part of it.
Right.
Zach really does play a good foil though, because he really wants to learn and he doesn't pretend to know stuff that he doesn't know. So I didn't know jack shit about Zac Efron. I am not the High School Musical crowd that was not made for Brian Green, right? And I was probably, I was 20 when it came out, not sure. But I did watch. I know he's in some of these comedy movies like Neighbors and stuff like that I actually thought he was pretty funny in. Yeah. But I came away I walked away with a new appreciation for Zac Efron, and he's just another human being trying to figure it all out, and he's willing to go, to the ends of the earth.
Nice.
Now, of course, Hilton sponsored him in Visa.
Right.
By the way, you see a Hilton logo.
And also have money.
Yeah, that's right. They get into the most exclusive restaurants. They do the most exclusive things. He also has a Hilton logo and a Visa logo every 3.5 seconds. You can tell who produced the show. And it was not, Netflix. It was Hilton, apparently, because every 3 seconds. It's so transparent. Why don't they just say, you know what, if I was doing one of those shows, you know what I would say, Hoadley? I'd be like, hey, listen, Hilton put us up in all these rooms because, that's what happens in Hollywood. That's how it goes. So I just wanted you to know that's why you're seeing a Hilton logo every 2 seconds. Right. Hilton. And then the Visa logo. Like they would go to this exclusive restaurant in some random country, and then the lady would bring out the little check, and then have a big, the little check holder have a big Visa logo, and then they'd always show Zach putting his Visa down. And I was like, wait, that seems like a weird thing to show in every single every shot. But first of all, second of all, do we really think that Zach's paying for dinner? Is Zach really putting his Visa down? for dinner. I mean, if he is, good on him. Cool, dude. Great. Wonderful.
You might want the points.
I want the points. He doesn't need the points. I want the points.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Where do you think? I bet Zach lives in a really nice house. You think?
I bet he does too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's single too.
I'm not sure about that part.
Oh, he's single, man.
How do you know?
I've just been looking around the internet.
You've been looking around the internet to see whether or not Zac Efron is single?
I've really been looking for my wife, to be honest with you. I was just checking up on Zach.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
I had a suspicion maybe Zach and my wife are getting together.
I think you're a little delusional. I don't think your wife would be getting together with Zac Efron.
My wife's name is Mila Kunis.
You were married to Mila Kunis?
Maybe.
I think you have trouble with the truth. There.
Maybe.
Thank you, Henry. I appreciate it. Henry, 90 Day Fiancé.
Okay. Yes.
Married at First Sight Australia is now, for the most part, over. It's over, actually. Now they'll have a few reunion shows and stuff like that. But it's over, and there's a big hole in my heart. What, is that right where your chakra is? Yes, it is, therapist.
You come to love those. You had come to love those contestants. Are they contestants?
I don't know what they are. They're married. That's what they. I mean, they're like they're partners.
Do you really win if you get married to somebody you just met?
I won. Well, I mean, listen, you eventually get married to someone you just met eventually, right? It just takes a little bit of time. No, I hear you. Like, no, I don't think you actually win. I think when the cameras shut off, then you really got to start. You're like, oh shit, this isn't so much fun anymore because now I actually got this person I'm married to and I got to start a life with him. And so I won't give away how the ending is because I don't know, because we're recording this a week and a half before I broadcast, and the actual last episode is this weekend or this week. But let me tell you this. So I jumped over to 90 Day Fiancé, of which they have a million versions of 90 Day Fiancé. They have 90 Day Fiancé the other way, 90 Day Fiancé the original, 90 Day Fiancé after the 90 days. They've got a whole thing, right? There's a couple on there. This guy is Moldovan. He's from Moldova. We've talked about Moldova before on the show because we have some people that listen from Moldova. But the guy is a Moldovan guy. And I don't know much about Moldova. I really have no idea what it's all about. I know it's close to Russia. I know they sound like they're from Russia. And I know that there's girls there and they're apparently very beautiful, right? That's the most knowledge that I have about Moldova.
Moldova.
Is it Moldova? It's Moldova,
you were calling the guy Moldovan.
He is Moldovan.
Yeah.
I can make that assumption, right? So he's from Moldova. This week on this episode, they get married. It's like their marriage in Moldova. Now they've been married in the United States, but they decide they're going to go over there and do a traditional Moldovan ceremony. Mm-hmm. I can't get into every X and O about what happened, but I heard the most Moldovan conversation I have ever heard on this show, and I want you to listen to this. Can I take a minute to play this for you? It's about 2.5 minutes long, but just listen to it. I want you to hear this conversation that goes down. Now listen to this.
I'm really happy Andrei is not mad at me, but there is a little bit of tension between Andrei and Elizabeth's family. This is a really important day. He has to be calm and cool and leave everything that's wrong outside.
We didn't manage to be at the American wedding, and we felt a little bit sorry because he was alone there.
Yeah. How is it? Yeah, it looks good.
For mom and dad, this would be more big in importance than even for Andrei, because he's the second son, and they would also want to celebrate in our traditional way.
For the mom and dad, it's second son, so in Moldova doesn't care. First son doesn't matter. First son waste. First son is trash. Second son take over. We kill first son, but second son very important. Secrets are my secrets. Always going to be my secrets. Here's the deal.
Always going to be the secret.
I probably should have told this beforehand. Here's the deal. The guy was a detective in Moldova. He was a detective that then moved to Ireland, and that's where he met his 90 Day Fiancé. When he moved to Ireland, there was some questions as to why he moved to Ireland. He didn't exactly explain that to his wife before they got married. But what apparently happened is that the Moldovan police wanted him to be a part of some illegal racket that he wouldn't be a part of. And they told him they were going to set him up and kill him if he didn't leave the country. So then he left the country. So now that's why he says, my secrets are my secrets. But my favorite part of this whole thing, which, I mean, may have been a little long, but my favorite part of this whole thing is where he goes, it's an important day for my family. He's second son. Like, could have been the third son or the fourth son. Why is the second son so important in Moldova?
That's their culture.
That's right. Thank you, Hoadley. I appreciate it. First, I am second son. Bryan, Moldovan Bryan is the second son. It's very important in our culture. First son is like front bumper of car. You hit,
yeah. It was a test.
Second son is like engine. Bumper, if you get hit, it's okay. You replace bumper. Engine, very expensive. No replace second son.
Right.
Second son and third daughter. Very important in Moldovan culture. That's right. Usually, first and second daughter die of some rare disease or marriage. Very, very sad thing going on here in Moldova. First and second daughters usually disappear in marriage. But second son, very important. Thank you.
How's your money feeling? It's about to feel happier with a certificate from Happy Money's partner, Michigan State University Federal Credit Union. Elevate and increase your savings with 18-month terms and only a $500 minimum. And the happiest part? MSU FCU certificates yield 4.5% APY annual percentage yield. Now that's a happier side of money. Elevate your savings. Go to happymoney.com/MSUFCU. That's MSUFCU. Funds insured up to $250,000 by NCUA. The APY is accurate as of the 12/1/2023 dividend declaration date. Early withdrawal penalties do apply. Fees may reduce earnings on the account. Any monthly withdrawals or transfers reduce earnings. How's your money feeling? It's about to feel happier with a certificate from Happy Money's partner, Michigan State University Federal Credit Union. Elevate and increase your savings with 18-month terms and only a $500 minimum. And the happiest part? MSU FCU certificates yield 4.5% APY annual percentage yield. Now that's a happier side of money. Elevate your savings. Go to happymoney.com/MSUFCU. That's MSUFCU. Funds insured up to $250,000 by NCUA. The APY is accurate as of the 12/1/2023 dividend declaration date. Early withdrawal penalties do apply. Fees may reduce earnings on the account. Any monthly withdrawals or transfers reduce earnings.
The mistletoe margarita, the Scrooge driver, the North Pole punch. The holidays call for cocktails, so get everything you'll need for them delivered with Drizzly, the go-to app for drink delivery. So
what's it gonna be?
Classics like Bullet Bourbon, Don Julio Reposado, or Kettle One, or maybe something new. Find it all on Drizzly, where you can get beer, wine, and spirits delivered for any holiday festivity. Download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com. That's DRIZLY.com today. Must be 21 plus, not available in all locations.
Are you an oldest child? You are an oldest child.
I am the oldest, yes.
You basically mean nothing in Moldovan country.
Exactly.
Yeah. So they go on to this Moldovan wedding, and then the reception happens, and the reception is like, Hoadley, I've never seen anything like it in my life. Ballet dancers. It's not big because there's not a lot of people there, but there are like ballet dancers doing dances. They're throwing the cake around. They're
theatrical.
Oh my God. It was crazy. It was like a whole show that they did. And, I've never been to Moldova, so I don't know, but I kind of expected like, third world country kind of reception, but no, it was like top of the nines.
They were going all out.
They were going all out. And that's, I guess, all that.
Second son.
The second son very important, let me tell you. First son did not get a wedding like that. First son we sell for pig. Second son we make big party. Second son, very important. Yes, thank you very much.
Yes.
That's in 90 Day Fiance.
I love it.
Do you watch that show?
No, I haven't watched it. There's, I know there's been a lot of them on, but I have not watched it. So you've been talking about it, though. I'll have to check it out.
I have given you so many recommendations.
Programming.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I've given you so many recommendations for great television shows, none of which you follow up on. You got to start.
I did watch the one that was The Blind. Love is Blind.
Love is Blind. Oh yeah,
yes,
Love is Blind.
I did watch that one.
Oh, that was so beginning of the pandemic. Now we're in the middle. We're middle pandemic. I feel like we're middle
halfway
pandemic.
through Homeland right now. We got hooked on Homeland. We had not seen that show, so we're on that 7 seasons.
I watched.
Kind of takes up my time.
I watched what I watched. I started watching again, which is The Americans. Have you ever seen that? If you like Homeland, you'll like The Americans.
Okay, yeah.
Watch The Americans. Yeah, and there's also 7 seasons of that too, so you can really get yourself involved.
Right. Right.
It's something that'll last at least a week, right? I get on Netflix and I only watch, for whatever reason, I only watch these British comedy shows that I just love, these BBC comedy shows, right? And I'm in the middle of one right now. It's starring a guy named Jack Whitehall called Bad Education. It's just really like it's a crude, crass show about a teacher who's got a bunch of, derelict students and how he teaches them, right? There's no meat and potatoes.
Scripted?
It's scripted.
Scripted show?
I think it's scripted. I mean, it seems scripted, right?
Yeah.
It's a television show. It's not a reality show. But it's also not Homeland or Americans. Like there's no doesn't take any brain power to follow it. You can get on every night. So what I do is my wife is bothered by TV at night after she falls asleep. And my son, obviously, I don't want him watching TV while he falls asleep. So I've got this pillow. This pillow is like a blue pillow. And it's meant to sit on your chest and hold your phone so you can watch your phone.
Oh, is it like a wedge?
It's a wedge. Yes, it's like a wedge, but it's a pillow, right? It's a really firm pillow. Hoadley, it's the best money I have ever spent is on this fucking wedge. I found it in a Home Depot. I was so excited. It was in the middle of the pandemic. I come running out with this blue wedge and I'm like, Astrid, I found it. Open up your heart chakra. I found it. Because I had been using a regular pillow to do this for years. I'd like to watch a little TV before I go to sleep, and I've been using this regular pillow, and the fucking phone would fall, and then it would slip to the side, and then I wake up in the middle. If you touch your phone, it pauses, and it was so obnoxious. But I find this pillow, and now I am just in shit heaven. I just think it's the best thing in the world. It's the small stuff in life, and my blue pillow.
That's awesome. It is. Yep, it is the small
so
stuff
Astrid,
in life.
when I get in the car with this blue thing, I'm like, look what I found. It's got 3 different sizes. Like it's 3 different sides, right? It's like a triangle.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And each triangle has a different angle for the phone, so you can watch it straight up or a little bit back or further back. And I'm like, look, I depending on how my head is moved, I can. And she's like, oh my God, are you going to start packing that thing? And I go, no, I'm not that crazy. And she's like, your dad, the lake house, you can take it to the lake house. Yeah, I'm going to take it to the lake house. Of course I am. That's like a real travel. And she's like, are you going to take it to the island, to the beach? Yeah, but I mean, we can fit it in the car. We take the car down there. What's that? Are you going to put it in a suitcase? Maybe. I mean, if we go to Spain or something, maybe. But I'm going to take it everywhere that I go. It's like my blankie. Now it's like my blankie. I have it at night. As soon as I get out of the shower, I have my little blue pillow, and I'm like, over here.
I'll be watching
Bad Education. Yeah.
No, I'm into the cooking shows and the home shows when I'm not watching the dramas. So.
Yeah, I love the dramas, but I have to take a break every once in a while. So right now I'm on I take a break just for my own sanity, right?
Right.
Not even sanity. It's just like I'm in a mood sometimes for comedy. I'm in a mood sometimes for drama. And so I'm getting into all of these BBC comedies that they have on Netflix and other places and Amazon, whatever I can find. But here's what I've noticed about BBC. Here in America, you can have one season of something, and then it gets canceled, right? It's just, for whatever reason, didn't have enough audience. People didn't like it. It wasn't funny. It wasn't good. It just gets canceled. But BBC always puts out 3 seasons. And it seems not to matter whether or not the show is actually liked or not liked. They just put out 3 seasons. That's it. Very rarely.
Go with it.
Yeah, they go ahead and they go with it. When they order 1 season, they order 3, and then there are no more after that. On these comedy shows, at least, that's what it appears to me, because I've watched 10 of these British comedies in a row, and all of them are just 3 seasons. That's it. And that pisses me off a little bit, because I'm like, wow, it was a really good show. You should have another season. But, by the time they get to Netflix, it was, it's broadcast in 2015.
It was
and so
10 years
I cannot
ago.
petition the BBC to bring it back on air.
I love it.
You got to watch 90 Day Fiancé. I'm telling you, man, 45 minutes, my friend, 45 minutes to an hour really flies when you're having fun.
It does when you're having fun.
I feel like we didn't get half the stuff I wanted to talk about today. I'm going to have to put it, we'll talk about it next week. I found this CNN clip. It's like the crazy Uncle Bob convention. Bunch of old white gentlemen at the Trump rally talking about why they're not wearing masks.
Oh, Lord. I can only imagine.
One guy goes, well, I can't hear anybody when I'm wearing the mask. So, and I thought, are you putting it around your ears? Like,
right.
Why can't you hear
How does that work?
But the CNN reporter has, the CNN reporter, since they're just a bunch of, liberal leftists from Ivy League schools, he snaps back real quick. Right. He goes, can you hear me? He goes, yeah, I can hear you. Guy's got a mask on. I fucking love it. It's too much. It's too funny. And
we will listen to it.
Regardless of who you're going to vote for, go out and vote. But I just thought to myself, I have uncles that are like this. Like, I have uncles that I know that are like this. I haven't talked to him in 10 years. Maybe you should open up your heart chakra and talk to him.
Maybe you should.
Thank you, Hoadley. I'm finding myself liking Hoadley a lot more than I like you. It'll be $195. I get the sense that my therapist doesn't like me sometimes. I'm like, what did I do to you? Sorry, I was taking a sip of tea from my TCB Yeti cup.
I love those.
You're going to go to Instagram at The Commercial Break. Go to Instagram at The Commercial Break and become a follower, because we have some TCB swag, some Commercial Break swag that we're going to be giving away on social media only. So I implore you, Krissy and I are going to start uploading some videos of us off the air and stuff like that. So go at The Commercial Break on Instagram, Facebook. You can get us on YouTube. You can actually watch a video of the program being recorded, but you got to go to tcbpodcast.com. You got to join the break room. It's a big button. You cannot miss it. Go there, and then we'll send you a link every week, probably Tuesday night, like 10 midnight, something like that. We'll send you a link so that you can watch the video version of the show.
Fun.
What else is there to say without getting too long-winded? I wanted to tell you a story about my dad. Like, look at this list. I got a whole list. I want to talk about the favorite movies that you'll never watch again, like the best movie that you'll never watch again for whatever reason, right?
Yeah.
And I think I've got
to think about that one.
Oh, man, I got a good one, Hoadley. I got a good one, and I think when you hear it, you're probably going to understand why. But I won't tell you now. We'll do that next week on the next episode of The Commercial Break. The Commercial Break. I'm working on new audio with our audio guy, and I'm like sending him messages. I'm like, The Commercial Break. Because he's like, next time on The Commercial Break. And I'm like, no, not The Commercial Break. It's The Commercial Break. And he's like, The Commercial Break. And I'm like, no. Emphasis on the Commercial Break.
I love that guy's voice, too.
Yeah. Oh, he's so good. He's so good.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you next time. Oh, and you know what? If you want to catch more of this conversation, tcbpodcast.com. The break room. Bye.
Bye.
How's your money feeling? It's about to feel happier with a certificate from Happy Money's partner, Michigan State University Federal Credit Union. Elevate and increase your savings with 18-month terms and only a $500 minimum. And the happiest part? MSU FCU certificates yield 4.5% APY annual percentage yield. Now that's a happier side of money. Elevate your savings. Go to happymoney.com/MSUFCU. That's MSUFCU. Funds insured up to $250,000 by NCUA. The APY is accurate as of the 12/1/2023 dividend declaration date. Early withdrawal penalties do apply. Fees may reduce earnings on the account. Any monthly withdrawals or transfers reduce earnings. How's your money feeling? It's about to feel happier with a certificate from Happy Money's partner, Michigan State University Federal Credit Union. Elevate and increase your savings with 18-month terms and only a $500 minimum. And the happiest part? MSU FCU certificates yield 4.5% APY annual percentage yield. Now that's a happier side of money. Elevate your savings. Go to happymoney.com/MSUFCU. That's MSUFCU. Funds insured up to $250,000 by NCUA. The APY is accurate as of the 12/1/2023 dividend declaration date. Early withdrawal penalties do apply. Fees may reduce earnings on the account. Any monthly withdrawals or transfers reduce earnings.
The mistletoe margarita, the Scrooge driver, the North Pole punch. The holidays call for cocktails, so get everything you'll need for them delivered with Drizzly, the go-to app for drink delivery. So
What's it gonna be?
Classics like Bullet Bourbon, Don Julio Reposado, or Kettle One, or maybe something new. Find it all on Drizzly, where you can get beer, wine, and spirits delivered for any holiday festivity. Download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com. That's DRIZLY.com today. Must be 21 plus, not available in all locations.
Email us at thecommercialb@gmail.com. Find us and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at The Commercial Break. New episodes drop every Wednesday. We can be found on Spotify, iHeartMedia, Apple, Google, and all major podcast providers. The Commercial Break is a great middleweight production. Written and produced by Brian Green. Co-hosted by Krissy Hoadley.
How's your money feeling? It's about to feel happier with a certificate from Happy Money's partner, Michigan State University Federal Credit Union. Elevate and increase your savings with 18-month terms and only a $500 minimum. And the happiest part? MSU FCU certificates yield 4.5% APY annual percentage yield. Now that's a happier side of money. Elevate your savings. Go to happymoney.com/MSUFCU. That's MSUFCU. Funds insured up to $250,000 by NCUA. The APY is accurate as of the 12/1/2023 dividend declaration date. Early withdrawal penalties do apply. Fees may reduce earnings on the account. Any monthly withdrawals or transfers reduce earnings. How's your money feeling? It's about to feel happier with a certificate from Happy Money's partner, Michigan State University Federal Credit Union. Elevate and increase your savings with 18-month terms and only a $500 minimum. And the happiest part? MSU FCU certificates yield 4.5% APY annual percentage yield. Now that's a happier side of money. Elevate your savings. Go to happymoney.com/MSUFCU. That's MSUFCU. Funds insured up to $250,000 by NCUA. The APY is accurate as of the 12/1/2023 dividend declaration date. Early withdrawal penalties do apply. Fees may reduce earnings on the account. Any monthly withdrawals or transfers reduce earnings.